Hey guys, welcome to the Review Crew Monday night live streams here on the Centre Bounce. It is the show where Big J complains about trading out primos, and you guys get to laugh for the next little while. How's it going, fellas?
Good, mate.
I'm loving this background of God.
Yeah. Yep.
Ned Long, superstar.
There's an indication of how this stream's going to go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Now, apologies to anyone who has been watching since 6:20. You should all know by now that the stream does start at 7. I don't know why YouTube was like, mate, it's 6:20. Why are you not here? I'm like, oh. Cool. And then got reminded tonight that, it is not there, Kai. Mate, 6:20. Hopefully you weren't waiting for that long.
I hope not for anyone that was watching along. I know I was scrambling to try and get everything in order before the 7 o'clock or sort of 6:50 before we sort of wrap into it.
Fair enough. Round 5, done and dusted, fellas. Gather round. I know Joe has been down in Adelaide. I assume all of you guys have not been down in Adelaide, but maybe next year we look at Review Crew Adelaide. What do you guys reckon for gather round next year? Make an impromptu plan. We'll try and figure it out.
I'm so down. I really want to go. I've never been, and it looks like so much fun. Just every night, getting on the piss and watching 9 games, going to 9 games of footy. Well, you probably can't go to 9, but 6.
I mean, you can try
6 games of footy, 6 or 7.
You can try.
Yeah, it'd be
funny to try and set up a booth, kind of like obviously you had the SEN little setup there on the live grounds, and we could try to do a live Review Crew gather round.
Yeah,
just go buy a little pitch up table from like the Kmart and.
Like what would you need, right? You'd probably have someone's like laptop, I suppose, and then just you can get some form of car charger, just sit on the back of someone's ute, and then Bob's your uncle, car boot, car park stream, whatever it works.
Yeah.
Sean says wine reviews. We could do wine reviews. There you go, Sean.
Go to the Barossa.
Is that all right?
Yeah, go to the Barossa.
How you doing, Michael? Good evening, one and all. Hope you've had a good weekend. Yeah, definitely. Continue to slowly climb the ranks into the top 2%. Congrats. Hopefully can continue the run. Should I get Dacos all track this week, fellas?
I think it's... I'm going to quickly jump in here. I reckon it's either you're playing for value or you're trying to lock in a top 8, top 6 keeper of your line.
Mm-hmm.
Track is probably top 8 of its line, given the forward line, and then Dacos you're obviously picking up at his what would be bottomed out price for a keeper in the midline. Just depends on purely for me. I put it down to trade cadence. If you get Dacos this week, does that mean it kind of stalls your upgrades for the following 2 weeks? Whereas, track might be a bit easier for you to grab this week, and then you can grab Stewart next week and keep it going. Whereas maybe if you force yourself to get Dacos this week, you might have to do like a double downgrade next week. That's really the only 2 considerations I would really make of these 2 picks. I mean, if I grab track, which I'm most likely going to instead of Dacos, I get no rookies in the forward line anymore. So it's very tempting.
Fair enough.
What do you think, John?
I would probably say, considering you're in the top 2%, I would go Dacos. Only because
Are my plans out the window? That's all right.
only because you're getting in a guy. Look, you can not get him and try and get him next week and bank that he's gonna get a 105, 110 and drop another 5K or something because his break even's 120. Or you can just get him in this week. Historically, he goes pretty well against the Lions. He's obviously got that score standing out of 150 or whatever it is. Of like having a look at it. Or you can go with, I don't even know, is track top 6? Like,
not at the moment.
Well, this is the thing, right? Is you trade You're getting tracked because you think he'll find form. You're hoping Melbourne figure their shit out and kind of find a way to make Melbourne good again. You're hoping Gawn. I think Gawn's bounced back pretty well. Like Gawn owners have been pretty kissed with Sherry being out of form. But you're hoping Track and Oliver find form over the next, especially after next week for the two real easy matchups as well. Whereas Dacos, you know what you're getting. Track, you're hoping you see a turnaround. So, but the other consideration, which I'm surprised you didn't mention, what if I got Track and Baby Dacos in someone who's behind you in your background, God? What if I did that instead?
What if you got Track and Ned Long?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, all for that. All for it. I reckon Ned Long is my biggest lock to get in this week. And that's not even I'm getting Ned Long over Gross probably.
I've got a hot take for a trade in whenever we get around to it. I've got a very hot take. And
then just quickly on Dacos, don't let even though he's a 103 average or whatever, I think it's pretty safe to say he's top 8. I think we can all probably agree on that. You would have thought he's had a few tags. He's shown clearly that he can get through a tag quite easily. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that if you're getting Dacos, you got a guaranteed top 8 player. Whereas if you get Track, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's tricky.
There you go, Trav.
Old magpies.
There you go. G-Bags, how you going, G-Bags? Thoughts on the following trades this week? Callahan, Henderson, to Dacos and Cleary. Cool. I don't mind it. I think Hendo is probably time to trade. Currently, I still had him, but that's because I'm a madman. So, yeah, not too bad there. Ross, how you doing, Ross? Thanks for jumping on. Good job, Michael. Oh, let's talk about Michael. Hard to go past. Dacos is a gun, and umps at Supercoach will love him. There you go. Greek Raven, how you doing, mate? What a weekend. Fantastic score there. Funnily enough, I think he beat a few of us this week with that 21-57. Callahan, Zorko, Dale, and Roberts. And I took Sarong of it. Nice. That sums up my weekend. Good news coming back to Australia from the Philippines and comfort my beloved cats. There you go. Now, question for you fellas before we go through some more of the questions. Are you guys coming down for the North versus Essendon game? Or is it just going to be me and Joe? I know it's a bit impromptu, hey, putting you guys on the spot, but are you guys going to come down for the game?
Possibly. Why say it's a no?
Is that this week or?
2 weeks, around 8. So what are we, around 6? So yeah, just things like the 1st of May is the week.
What day is it on?
Thursday.
Who's putting that game on a Thursday?
Oh, who knows, man? The AFL's a bit nuts, hey?
No, I'd definitely consider it.
Nice.
Put it up for consideration.
50-50?
Yeah, probably more side of no, just with everything going on and being up in Sydney, it's a little bit further.
Yeah, no, I get you.
No, just catch an easy flight down. What are you talking about? Come on, it's not
drive down for North Essendon.
Yeah.
Take the 10-hour
one
drive
game a year you wouldn't think you'd do the travel for.
No, it could actually be a close game, to be fair. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, 2 teams not scoring that well. There you go. No Callahan, Whitfield. There you go. G-Bags. God, why the Flynn trade? Flynn is now gone. He is gone. It would have been so upsetting if he played this week.
Oh my! You know what's more upsetting? That BJ is going to get dropped this week. That's what's upsetting. And I just
it's going to happen,
mate. Flynn Diaries might be all year round. I might get him back next week. If he turns, if he turns up this week, comes into the side, turns up, I might have to get him. I might have to have Ned Long, Marich, and Matt Flynn in my side.
Hey, why not? Why not? Hippo, come on, sexy lads, mate. Shout out to Hippo. If you haven't already, smack the sub button on Hippo's channel, Hippo Supercoach at Supercoach. He's currently ranked 74, fellas. So doing very, very well. Nice big 2,300 plus this week. Michael says 420 and 5, so I'm confusion. Well, there you go. CWT, g'day lads. How you doing, mate?
It's good, legend.
Michael, evening all. Excuse me, a few people there. Message Joe to see what's happening. Joe is he has just driven back from Adelaide today, so no recording for him, but he is going to be dead tired because the drive is 8+ hours. So there you go. Maltesing, g'day everyone. Brayshaw and Rosie saved me this weekend. Well, yeah, bloody Rosie can get in the bin because I traded him. Slowly rising, but really disappointed with Saligo trade. Yeah. Stuck now and hopefully can score 90 until the bye. Watching a bit of George Supercoach this morning, fellas, was talking about Adelaide having, I think it was like a 5-day break. So hence why a few of their players kind of conked out. So hopefully Jordan Dawson, Saligo and whatnot can bounce back. Charles.
George is also on, he's on Gross over Cleary.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah. I think there's a few people. We'll talk about the rookies because we've got a couple of questions about rookies and whatnot tonight. But I think there's a bit of a camp going saying that Cleary might get affected with a few of the Sydney players coming back. So we'll see what happens there. He did look quite good though. Like he looks better. Maybe not better than Gross, but he looks quite good.
Master trade in by rookie last week.
Yeah.
Very good.
No, Master Stroke would have been getting in Brayshaw instead of Midfield, but that's all right.
I should have done it, and then I could get all the rookies and Ned Long.
There you go.
I feel like we need to get a counter up if we could of just how many times you mentioned Ned Long.
Ned Long counter.
Yeah.
Charles, hello, gents. Can't hang around today. Catches tomorrow, Charles. Supercoach Pro. Brad, how you doing, mate? Hopefully your weekend was great and your Supercoach was better. Yeah, nice Kai. There you go. Good evening. There you go. Ross, who's the best Fallen Premium to buy this week, fellas? Shall I go and pull up? We have a break-evens questions as well. Maybe I'll pull that up too. But Fallen Premium. We go on Petrarca. A few people jumping on Dacos as well. Looking at the most the cheapest, most expensive premium at the moment, if that actually makes sense, is
Neil.
I'm going to say Neil's probably there. Neil's probably up there.
Neil got 140 against us.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Brisbane and kind of what happens with their team. Can they facilitate having four plus monster players at the moment? There's quite a few. All right. Cool. Neil probably is there just checking out cheapo players as well. If you want
Noah Anderson's pretty cheap as well. 5, 6, 7, and he's got he's got Sydney coming up, but he's got the Richmond matchup, and then got Brisbane, Western Bulldogs. So there is a couple of high scores there for him.
Yeah, definitely.
It really depends on what you define as a primo. Like Jordan's now down to 530. Sorry, not Dawson. Jordan Dawson's down to 530. Like if you really want to back him in, he's getting to a really nice price.
Even Rankin as well.
Yeah.
Even Luke Ryan, but he's probably not primo stats.
Sub. I mean, Sicily, technically a primo. He's just above 500k.
Well, like Tim English is 520 if you want to be a bit cheeky. Bailey Dale's 516. Is he a keeper? Is he not?
LDU 500.
Whatnot. Nick Martin just got forward status, 516k. So a lot of people are saying, hey, that might work out for what people want. In their forward lines, big one here is Paddy Cripps. So I think a couple of weeks ago, he dropped that stinker like in the 40s or 50s. Has a decent enough run coming up. Like, who's their next few teams? North and then Geelong, who probably won't tag him, and then a couple of others too. So maybe Paddy Cripps at just under 500. Sorry, just over 500k. Moving down the list, Ed Richards, 500k as well. Connor Rosie, if you believe in the halfback position, could get him back in. There's a couple. There's quite a few around the 500k mark. I mean, Stewart, Petrarca, basically the same price as well at 483. So a few sneaky options there, Ross. What's good, everyone? There you go. Flynn usurped by Long. Yep, there you go. We've done through him. Which cash cows do we go for? So this week, cash cows are a bit tricky. We're actually maybe tricky is not the right word. If Sandy Brock forced himself into our teams with another 80 plus, I think this week would have been different. Cash cows wise, fellas, Cleary, -73 break even, Tom Gross, -65, and then Sandy Brock, -60. Probably one of you want 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3 if you're going to double upgrade this week.
Yeah, I think the what's it called? I think between if you have to pick between Cleary and Gross, I don't know how to find it out, but you just got to figure out which one has the best job security and just pick that one. I think Cleary's probably got more scoring power. His VFL numbers are apparently really good.
Yeah, but his VFL numbers are from playing in the midfield, and he's playing off half forward at the moment. And also Sydney start to have McInerney and some wingers start playing, and it's just like, do you drop a Sheldrick or a Caden Cleary, or do you drop a Jake Lloyd and Ollie Foran and make a statement that those guys are pretty much cooked? But that's, I think, almost the opposite with Gross, who's, I think, averaged 70% CBAs or somewhere close to that number, like even more than Clayton Hall or Clay Hall, and he looks even better than Clay Hall in my opinion. So he might have jumped Hall and be ahead of him if they do want Tim Kelly back. But their midfield's getting absolutely hammered each week, so you might as well play the rookies at this point for their sake.
Definitely consideration with the West Coast is, I mean, what else are they going to do? Excuse me. Like, what else are they going to do other than play the kids at this point? Like, Harley Reid's probably on one of the next flights out with contract talks. Like, they've got no real other choice but to play the kids, try to get them to, bond and make relationships for them to stay. Like, that's like all the conversations I'm hearing out of West Coast at the moment are just blow it up and just get the kids in and rebuild. So I imagine Gross probably gets a slight tick above for job security, but I'm kind of already committed to Cleary, so it's I get both.
Well, that's what Close is saying here. Safe to pick both, probably getting there as well. Saad El Wahi, yes, very nice player. Has a super low break even though, so I guess kind of high and lows reversed when you go negatives. So -11 break even. Does have that score, I think, of the 12 still in his system from the first round when he was the sub. So you can probably wait a week on him, get someone else and then bring him in for like 130k and not care too much. So there you go. Sorry. Trav, a couple of weeks ago, brought in Hugh McDamage. Yep, Hugh McDamage is great. There you go. Lindsay and Morales, keepers or trade one or both of them. For myself, fellas, I'm keeping both. You guys going to keep them or what's up?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
have
keeping
Morales.
them. Lindsay will be fine. He just needs to get that, what is it, a 10 out of his system or something like that. That's a couple of weeks away. Then he starts going at like 20k a week or so off 60s. And Moreira's keeping him for the moment, but that'll be a bench sort of 5-10k, I think, and potentially a guy that in the next week or two, him and Pryor are the guys that I'm looking at being enough to upgrade someone to a premium. One of my like Roberts or Oliver in a couple weeks' time.
Yeah, I think I don't have Moraes, so can't really speak much on him. I don't know he's 200k, so he hasn't made enough money. Keep him. I think he's got pretty good job security. Like, he'll keep his spot. He didn't actually play that bad watching the game back. Like, watching it, I didn't think he was that bad. But yeah, Lindsay for sure.
You have some feedback. We get that fixed if you can. Well, a couple more questions, fellas. We are going to head into the round reviews. So smash those out as soon as we can. How about those Hockball? Yeah, Hawthorn, mate. Playing Crash a little bit, fellas. Track's next 3 are really good. I hope people keep dismissing him as a pick. There you go. Lol Magpies. God, always overrating Magpie. I think it's just being passionate for your team, mate. I don't know if it's about overrating as much. The coach did say, let's be fair, the coach did say that he's not going to be sub anymore for a very long time. So there you go. Thoughts on Horn Francis captain this week as a pod? Who will Jordan go to? Would have captained Rosie, but he might get tagged off half back. I think they're probably going to tag Butters because everyone's done it for the last 3 weeks. So
he's coming out of the gates blazing. Like you might have thought he might have had a warm up to the season, but he's just come out swinging. Really, he's come out same Butters, same attitude, wanting to start fights at left, right, and center. Like they're 100% going to put attention in Butters.
Yeah, because you have to, right? Yeah, who to trade out with Henderson, Davidson to get Cleary, Gross, and Dacos, Campo or Hasty or Pattonstone. I actually quite like. You can probably get rid of one of Patton and Stone. I think you keep Stone just for the fact that he is still playing. So if a spike game comes, you'd hate to have traded him and then not. Patton probably can go, but I do love the DPP. I guess with Stone, you now have that as well. I hope Campo comes back. Just wait for team sheets, but I hope he comes back.
It becomes a decent loop next round because Carlton don't have the early game next week. So
when does St Kilda play? I suppose we all have Boyd as well, right? So
well, yeah. Well, the idea that was the idea of keeping Boyd, wasn't it? That he'd be our only loop, and now we suddenly have 2. And it's like, oh, okay, no worries.
That's Supercoach for you, man.
Thanks,
always happens. Always happens.
That's a good one. Is Elijah Hewitt going to come back in the team this week? Do we reckon?
CWT's in the chat. Maybe he'll let us know. He's talked a little bit about Hall and Gross and stuff as well, which we'll cover in a couple of seconds. So, yeah, Hewitt, I almost feel like they've surpassed him already with the last couple of players you've brought in. Like, you're not going to kick out Hall. I don't think you're going to kick out Gross. Probably not Brock and a couple of others for Hewitt to come back. Like, foot injury, just go through the VFL and all the waffle, as in this case, and see what happens, really.
Do we dare ask about Bo Allen while we're talking about West Coast?
Oh, yeah, Bo Allen being the same problem as well, right? Zave FN, thoughts on Dacos, Gross, Cleary out, Cos, Morales, and... Okay. Or do I need a good pod? I feel like my team, I'm the same as everyone else. I think a lot of Supercoach, as you get towards the end of the season, is about the journey that you've had in making your team, kind of getting guys cheaper, taking advantages and stuff there, but also your captaincy scores. Like, there's a huge difference. I mean, put Coach on the standpoint here at the moment, but going Whitfield like that, giving up 150 points compared to someone else going, 150, 130, it makes a big difference. So, yeah, it's a bit of a rough one. Yo, lads, do you agree with God? Is Ned Long a stepping stone to a primo? Look, how to say this? I don't mind the Ned Long pick. If your team desperately needs him, cool. If you think he's going to score 80s and 90s, cool. What is he like? 240K or something around that mark, right?
Yeah, it's 280.
It's just that a lot of us are looking to upgrade our teams, and you're now spending like another trade to upgrade them. If you had 30 odd trades left, fantastic. Go for it. If you didn't want to bring in like a couple of players, go for it. But it's just a bit of a rough one. It's kind of personalized towards your team.
I tend to fall with God in this one, where I actually think he's a very viable option. More for the camp of if you didn't go to a Humpty or a Marek. I think Marek obviously has like a really nice floor given the role, doesn't seem to do much else outside of what that role is specifically for, which is a bit disappointing because it just means it's possibly like a Naz situation where you're just betting on a good floor. But Ned Long is, I dare say, probably what people would be hoping Humpty was. Like the reality of what Humpty should have been.
Yeah.
The consideration that everyone's taking in, Craig McRae's come out and said he's probably not going to cop the vest for a while. If he maintains that role, when he's had the role, he's done amazingly. Like he's just an absolute gun. And if you're like, and yeah, you might consider it, well, you're gonna have to spend a trade to get him out anyways. But I feel like most might be doing a 2 down, 1 up situation potentially. Whereas if you go complete value, maybe you go across a Ned Long and a Track. So then technically you've taken an extra rookie off field and put Ned Long in that position where instead of getting maybe a 75 spike score, you're getting a 115 spike score if he plays that role well.
Yeah, not fair. Good way to look at it. So, yeah. Hey Mark, how you doing? Legendary Draper as my flex mate. Sammy Draper, get in the team. He is now ruck forward, so doing very well there. Yaron, hey, how's it going, everybody? There you go. How you doing, Yaron? Hopefully everything's going well, and you did well in Supercoach. Supercoach Tom Gross, there you go. Should I just trade Henderson and Davidson to Dacos and Cleary? Yeah, I think a lot of people jumping off Davidson at the moment seems to be the kind of thought in Supercoach land. Or should I boost and get Connor O'Sullivan out? Look,
Boost.
I think the general consensus is Horn Francis is probably top 6. Definitely has shown it the last 2 weeks. So if you don't have him like myself, depending on how many of these players you've actually got in round 12, is probably the biggest defining factor. Because round 12 is slowly coming very quickly. So you don't want to have to bring him in and then go bang. But I think with Butters back, especially, he's not going to get tagged, like we kind of said before. So maybe he's a must-have. We'll see. Dylan Moore should be getting some more CBAs. There you go. Corey saying the same thing. George said the same thing as well, fellas. Seemed to go into the midfield. He's very cheap and did quite well. So there you go.
And he's proven consistency as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like he's been basically in our forward lines for the past 5 years or something now. So
exactly.
Yeah. Starter's still a trade-in option. Similar to Ned Long, I think it is for myself. Like if you've got him on field, cool. But that extra 100K going down to like a Gross from a Sardis, it can help quite a lot.
If Sardis doesn't get named this week,
yeah.
I'm gonna be mad. I might have.
There's a few people in that same situation, man.
Yeah, me and Scoob's gonna have to start doing some venting, some big venting. I'm gonna have to go up to the hangar.
There you go. Taken with Pitnet coming back at some point. Is it worth getting Gorn in now at his lowest, even if Pitt isn't named? Well, I've got Gorn already, so it kind of helps that way. But look, I think while Mackay, especially against North Melbourne, I think while Mackay is out, and he's probably out for 2 more weeks, SDK might actually TDK might come in and actually kick some goals. So it could end up working out quite well. Couple more questions, fellas, and then we'll go into the games. Really concerning that they just kicked Hall out of the CBAs in that last quarter. Scared we get one price rise out of him. Hopefully not. Hopefully we get a few. CWT saying Hall is more of a tagging defensive mid type. What Graham does. So he'll be long gone before Gross, who can play different roles. There you go. And Gross actually looked quite good too. Happy to pay extra for El Sad. Same for myself. Max both only this week. Zach Merritt, I guess. Trading Davidson and Henderson to Dacos and Cleary. Ended up keeping Callahan. Cool. So tossing up between also going Callahan to Petrarca. I think Callahan to Petrarca, if you can do it, is actually pretty viable. You're going top 6 forward to, from a non-top 6 mid. So, or top 8 mid. So worth there. Risky picking up Long. Well, we've kind of covered that a bit.
No.
Still side bottom. Good old Rusty. Get around him. 2 more to go. Thoughts on Marek scoring off kickouts only? Yeah, kind of one of the worries, I guess, with Marek is just the way it goes. He runs to the box, gets the kick out, fellas, but then doesn't do much else. What's up with Marek?
You've just got to hope every week that West Coast gets smacked, because then he just gets like 10 plus kickouts. So
whenever they do kickouts, he's on the field too, not like on the bench.
Yeah. Apologies, CWT and Michael. But yeah.
There you go. Tell me Bo Allen is close. Cheese definitely has Bo Allen, it seems like. Slightly more expensive loop for the year. Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't pick him. Thoughts on Holmes as a potential trade-in, Coach? Yeah, keen on the Holmes? Or you'd be like, Holmes, get out of my team? Or just not in my team?
I don't mind it. He's very much like he's coming into that consideration with that first banana number one tag target conversation where clearly Holmes has like stepped it up that next gear. I do think his ceiling score last week was due to Stewart being out. I think if Stewart was in it, we wouldn't have seen a high ceiling that we did. But he is proving that when given the opportunity, he can now reach this 140 plus area, which is awesome. Those that held him and had him on your team, he's been pretty good. Like even his tag scores are, 71's been his worst one. Had a 91 against Windy. Like pretty solid numbers. I still think he's a viable option, but just if you're getting him in, just understand there are tags coming, and you just manage the expectations. Don't get these guys in that they're the number one tag targets, thinking they're going to go 120 plus each week, because that's not what's happening, and we've got 5 rounds to prove that. So and you want to bank in on their spike scores and hope they get a decent tag score.
And no one's tagging Bailey Smith, which is fantastic for Bailey Smith. It's always just go tag everyone else.
For now, tags could get creative by end of season. You never know.
Zav, Davidson, no dramas there. Hewitt will be ready back this week. They want games into him, so he could come back in via Hall. Ooh, that would be nasty. Bo Allen is now closed too, but I think Luca Greco is ahead of both. Fair enough. Is Illigane Cheese? There you go. Didn't play Waffle. What's up with Roma? Everybody, I know he was off the ground for 15 minutes into the rooms. Was it hamstring or something? I think they almost needed to play Harry Boyd in that game on the weekend. We'll go through the team sheets. Probably a good segue to our sponsors if you guys know Linus Tep Tips.
Yeah. I mean, I was nearly going to get Roma 2 weeks ago, and Rookie knows this because I was texting him about it. And I'm so glad I didn't. Oh my God, I would have crushed it. It would have been last year all over again. Picked him up in like round 4 or something. Next 2 weeks, he went 50 and 60. And then I traded him out, and then he went 130 and 140. So, I mean, if you have him, hold him. So, because he'll probably go.
He could actually be a really good avenue to get in case Pitnet firms himself into the Carlton side. Marshall's 516, 196 break even. Even if he goes 170, which he's done, he still drops like 510k. Resurrects his break even 510k or so. But he could be in the high 4s in the next week or two and almost be like Petrarca area as a ruck. And if he can get that solo ruck roll back and actually look fit enough, he's a 110 guy easy. I mean, he went 106 in the first 3 rounds, and that was with 1 game of Harry Boyd beside him. So the last 2 weeks have been interesting, but a guy that I just keep on the radar because you don't have to take the total average across their 23 games. All he has to be is a top 2 or 3 ruck in the next sort of 15 games once you grab him in.
Yeah, no, fair enough there. Who's going to be more consistent, Nazaya or Horn Francis? I think Nazaya. Yeah, as Sinclair kind of moves around a little bit, Nazaya just plays halfback. And last couple of weeks, fellas, I've been a bit dirty on him. He has kicked some goals, which is very, very.
How did he kick 3? What happened in that game?
Norwood is not very
big.
Norwood.
The answer is Norwood.
Is not big.
There's no other. It was no other
reason. So expect the unexpected at Norwood.
Yeah, Saints are at Norwood again this week, aren't they?
What?
Can't be at
I swear I
Norwood.
heard someone say Saints are at Norwood again.
Norwood.
They're going to go play at like the Boomy Stadium when it's not
I
gather
don't
round.
know. I heard someone mention it. I was like, surely not.
Nah,
they're
they
at
have like
Marvel.
3 games at Marvel in the next 3 weeks.
Who the
Yeah.
hell was saying they're
They're
at
back to
Norwood
there.
this week? I need to go find that person on Twitter and have a conversation.
Trav, do we move Ashcroft forward? Yep. Yeah, I quite like that. Ashcroft should be a keeper for a little bit longer. So probably one of your last rookie upgrades. Gross and Cleary, clear rookies this week. Yep. You can go side if you're desperate for the DPP or Sandy Brockett. And then you're moving up a few people after that. Grabbing Hewitt over Dacos this week, going different to the pack, hopefully works. Yeah, Frankie, definitely just watch out for no, coach is saying no Hewitt. No,
I'm not saying no Hewitt. I'm just the name haunts me. I can't go a day without hearing something about Hewitt. And
You should have
my
listened,
eyes.
Ricky. You should have listened.
No, you know what? Whenever Joshua is in the stream, again, he doesn't have a tag that's easy to find because it's very generic. I'm gonna find that man, and then come next season, he's gonna make my team for me.
Yeah, not fair. I wish I had started Hewitt over Chera. Like I'm at that point. Give me that 50K.
No way. It's still
he's going to be a
Chera's
keeper.
still a great pick.
500K keeper. Like
until Vossi decides to blow up the team, and then Hewitt becomes their new high half forward.
Maybe
They'll play him in the ruck over Cripps.
No, they're going to play Motlop in Ruck.
Please, guys, why are we pushing for track, fellas? He was playing Essendon and he looked gassed. He looks like very, very, very gassed.
It's the promise. That's literally it.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing for him. I never said I was pushing for him.
Okay.
Nah, I want to see him actually get back to his best. His best is a 110 and he's going 85, 90 at the moment. And I think Melbourne itself is probably taking 5 to 10 off him for them being horrific. So is his best really 100 if he's playing full-time mid? And we know he's playing up forward at the moment. So that's why I want a week of him at Freo to just see how that goes.
I just want him to play really bad so we can get him easily next year at Collingwood.
Do a Caleb Daniel and play forward, and then we'll get him as like a defender selection. There you go.
Him, Oliver, and others are going to be all good next year outside of like the Bevo 2.0, but it's going to be good one.
Last 2 questions, fellas. Thoughts on Peatling? Has to go good role, but copped the suspension. Yeah, if you like Peatling, I think you can hold for a week. If a player had a 1-week calf, I always kind of say this. If they had a 1-week calf or a 1-week concussion and you'd hope they'd be back, I think you kind of hold. Just hope that you've got the cover. Sin to track for me this week. There you go. Should I get in Naz or Holmes? I think Naz at the moment has a fantastic run at Marvel. Now we are going to jump into the round reviews. Here we go. Oop. I'll make the background work out all right for us. I don't know why it's doing this again, but we'll figure it out. Just 1 second.
Need that awkward technical music. Like,
there you go. I made it work. Who's up first, guys? I'm going to pick Coach. Here we go, Coach.
Oh,
Take
my
us
boys.
through the first game of Gather Round. There you go.
How good were my boys? Oh, love to see it. We're going to fly through this, ladies and gentlemen, because there's only really a few relevant players that are going to stand out now. Main one being Rankin for Adelaide was not even really confirmed to play until 10 minutes really before the bounce and gave us a 91. So we happily take that. It was definitely a watch behind the couch in case his calf got recorked or something like that. But man, you got to love watching him play. It's very, very nice. Disappointingly for some that may have traded Mr. Thilthorpe in, not looking at anyone in particular. Mr.
Yeah. Glitch, Supercoach broke, and then Thilthorpe somehow ended up in my team. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Are you trading him out?
Yeah, he's gone, mate. He's
really?
I had a 1-week contract. He's gone. Didn't pass the test.
Boy.
Yep. He's gone. He's out. But Thilthorpe, again, the interesting thing with Adelaide is they do have the 3-headed monster in that forward line. Fogarty absolutely went nuts, kicked the bag, and it just kind of meant Thilthorpe kind of regressed a little bit, but did have some ruck duty. So I think overall he's probably going to be fine. Just one of those down weeks. The 2 disappointing picks are Saligo and Dawson. both a 63 and a 60. Anyone who traded them in off their somewhat good scores, especially for Saligo at the price, just an unfortunate week. I still think they'll come good. Was mentioned, they did come off a 5-day break, so they were pretty gassed already leading into the game. So don't stress too much if you trade them in. They'll come good. They'll repay you for this horrible scoring. Into my boys, Holmes went nuts, showed us where the ceiling's at. Stewart laid out because man had to sit on the toilet for most of the pre-warm-up, unfortunately. So Holmes just did whatever he wanted to. Was an absolute ball to watch.
I'll interject with Tom Stewart as well. It's really bad, but a few hours beforehand, they totally showed Tom Stewart and a couple of other players going to, must have been the local Adelaide hospital, doing like kids stuff. And then straight after that, it's like, oh, now he's out sick for the game. Sorry, guys. So maybe
there was a Crom supporter in that hospital that was like, I'm going to get Stewart. He's gone.
It's definitely just knee though. It's still just his knee. And it's just Chris Scott being an absolute dick.
Yeah. Look, you know what? It makes sense. If it was going to be anyone, Chris Scott would do it. So it is what it is. Bailey Smith, again, his DE was about 56%, if I'm not mistaken, and skilled pushed out of 126. Again, I imagine these scores that he's going to have when he cleans up that DE. Just absolutely been an absolute gem of a pickup for Geelong and just changes the whole pace of it. Cameron finally showing us that he's no longer roaming. Not that he's Supercoach relevant, but just good overall. A sneaky pod in the forward line if he maintains form. Another sneaky pod, I will say, is Dangerfield, if you're willing to go there. 91 seems to be absolutely killing it, but be warned, he will get managed. SDK, a 57, had absolutely no hitouts, gave away some frees. He got a couple free kicks, but yeah, pure defense role. Back to the old SDK. Never had really early Tog was like 100% for, I think, almost the first 2 quarters. Really interesting coming off a plantar issue. Thank you, Chris Scott. But for those that held not what we wanted to see, probably would have been happy with the 75. So his cash gen has definitely slowed down, if not come to a halt. So it might be a useful trade out to potentially get to cash gen or cash cow this week. Same for Cos. Would have thought that given Stewart was out, we would have seen another big game. It didn't seem to be the case. So cash gen is seeming to slow down. I wouldn't say a must trade out this week, but definitely one to have in your trade plans for the next couple of weeks, given we might have Start Al Hooley coming up and Carroll as well. So,
Mark, there you go.
It is what it is.
Mark goes bang. Stewart's lost the heart to play the game. Apparently, it's off, coach.
Nah, I don't think so. I think he's just enjoying it. Honestly, if there's anything happening, he's taking his time to come back 100% because he wants to see the rest of the season out. So
another premiership.
Yeah, they're going to try for it. Now, I was going to give this to Kai because it's Sydney, but since they lost, I feel like I have to palm this to God.
Yeah, all right. Let's go.
Remember,
alrighty.
So relevant. Oh my God.
I apologize, Kai. The boys are just too good in the black and white. I mean, Flag Pies is back, 4-1, top 4. We'll probably beat Brisbane this week at the Gabba, and all will be good, right with the world. But anyway, let's get into the Supercoach part of things. Nicky Dacos, what an absolute superstar. Great trade target for this week. You would have thought this week or next week. I think you probably have to get him in. Steel side bottom. I mean, I brought it to the table last week. Is Steel side bottom a viable pick? He's proving something. He's probably not, but he is proving something to us. Darcy Cameron, you'd be happy with that if you have him. Ned Long, must have, absolute must have. Nah, he's not. But he's definitely, I think, a great option this week. One you can definitely go to, maybe from a Davidson, just to hopefully make 130, 140K would be elite. Scotty Pendlebury, probably not Supercoach relevant. Who else do we have? Josh Dacos now is DPP, had a shocking game though. Who else do we have here? That's about it, I would say. For Sydney point of view, Brodie Grundy played pretty well. I mean, against the old side, he's always gonna show up. Not too sure what his price is now, but yeah, probably he still seems like he's a bit cooked, to be honest, just from his previous games. But yeah, he could be an option. Heaney, yeah, I mean maybe an upgrade target after his bye. Probably wouldn't be going any earlier than that. Who else do we have here? Bice, of course, 89. So he might get to 450k, guys. Like he could be. He's so far definitely best rookie of the year. But yeah, I mean the sky's the limit with this man. Roberts, is he getting affected by Riley Bice, or are these just two floor games that have come out over the past 2 weeks? I'm not too sure. Kai, what do you think about Roberts and his last 2 scores?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to look at Roberts and his last couple games. The first game that Bice played a full game, I think he scored a 115. So there still is the promise that it is just sort of down games. He also had the 5 clangers, which isn't notice what he usually does. Sydney have a lot of sort of those wingers, or they gain a lot more structure back, I would say, this week with Melican and guys like that returning. So that should help the defense be able to retain a lot of the ball. But I think he's the guy that would go before Oliver if you were to order those ones, because I think a lot of people have those 2 as their only 2 sort of unders, mid prices left. Some will have probably Chera, but yeah, out of those 3, you'd probably Roberts would be the first one to go. And yeah, aside from that, Sydney, it's just Cleary, and it's just how does the combinations work with their best 22 when all the guys sort of return. And that'll be the big question, is do they make the bold statement of Jake Lloyd's sacking him off to the VFL? Because I was doing a little bit of research, and that his last 2 games have been his 2nd and 4th worst rated games of his career only, and his 3rd rated worst game was his rookie games, his first game. So he is in a horrific stretch, and it's just whether the Dean Cox makes a big move or not, or whether it's because it is basically Florent and Lloyd, or Cleary and Sheldrick that go. And if Cleary goes, well, then that's not good for us in terms of Supercoach. But yeah, that's basically it for Sydney, I would say, almost in a long run. I overtook that one.
No, all good. But yeah, you're right. That's about it. I mean, Hanley, if you still have Hanley, a 70 is a good result as well. And Corey Warner with the 65 isn't too bad as well if you have him. But yeah, I mean, go Pies, and let's get to the next game.
Oh, beautiful game to hand over back to Big J. I mean, wow, maybe not perfect.
Good game until the 15th minute of the 3rd.
We did talk about no one picking the teams that when their team loses, but I guess we don't have a Gold Coast person on the show, so I kind of have to cop it a little bit here. North lost 89 to 141. Seems to be a thing where we can play 3 quarters, but we can't play 4 quarters. I don't know if it's fitness, mentality, some nonsense, but yeah, what can you do? Harry Sheasel back to his best with the 102 Supercoach. Not as big as what we had hoped it could have potentially been. I know some people went him captain or vice captain, so ouch. But 102 playing playing half forward mid, so it worked out quite well there. Scored a goal, which is fantastic for him. Caleb Daniel 116, obviously just normal scoring. Jai Simpkin 101. A few people had brought him into their forward line, so you're getting something out of him, I suppose. His disposal efficiency, I think, does not show how poor of a player he is, though. Just seems to shank it sometimes, and sometimes it works out, other times it doesn't. So not great. Zach Fisher definitely changing a few things into the team. Could be back for a long period of time. Don't think he's really Supercoach relevant, though. Moving down the list, Finn O'Sullivan. I know a few people were complaining that he had scored 50 at halftime and then somehow ended up on a 69. So if you doubled that, went to 100, a few people have traded him out. Tristan Cherry with the 83. Did skip him, but I will go back to it. He obviously is still dealing with some hamstring problems. So, yeah, it's a rough one. It's a big rough one. Keep the faith, Mark says. I don't know about that. We'll see. Yeah, Tristan Cherry, you've got to keep him at least until his bye, I think, unless there's real degradation in the pick. I don't know who else. Maybe if you've got Cherry TDK, you go Cherry to Gorn. Maybe. I don't know, though. From North, that's probably it in terms of relevant Supercoach players. Gold Coast, definitely going bang. I think, what is that, 6 players with over 100 Supercoach. So if you had some of those, you'd be great. Matt Rowell, the weapon, as Squadfather says, was kind of lacking for periods of time there. And I think him, Anderson, Tuke Miller kind of put the ball on their boot and then took them home. He's done quite well, 126. Anderson, 113, done well as well. Tuke Miller, 106. Probably the third out of those if you're going to pick one of them. Ben Long, no one has him in their teams. That's fine. Nice to see Flanders too. Potentially ends up a backline pod for some people once he's tanked out in price. And scoring, Bailey Humphrey, 74. As a non-owner, I was very happy with this scoring, probably around his mark, but could have gone very big against North. Ethan Reed, for those that still have 74. So, yeah, not too bad there. North stink, kind of blew their load in, the second round, and we were top 8 for, a week. So, yeah, that's probably our season done, to be honest. There's a lot of changes that need to happen. So, we'll see that kind of as it comes.
Big J, just quickly, why did they play? I didn't watch the game, but why did they play Constanti and Dersma 55 and 57% tog?
I think just fitness. Constanti, actually, it's quite surprising. Maybe he got stuck on the bench for periods of time. I don't think the fitness is a problem. It was a very, very hot day in Adelaide, which potentially could have suffered a few of the players as well. Some more of the younger type of players not doing as well. Cherry, 76% time as well. Tom Powell only with 68. So maybe it was the younger bodies. And I know there were a few comments throughout the game and after the game talking about how North Melbourne again, I mean, it's all just BS anyway, but North Melbourne again getting shafted by playing the hot weather team in the hot weather. So, Gold Coast obviously train up in Darwin. They're used to the super hot weather. Now played in the super hot weather, and the guys that have the fitness went bang. So, yeah, it's not too bad there. Shino, thank you very much for jumping on, mate, and for the plug.
Awesome. I'm going to take over this game to run us through what this. Finally, Carlton got a win. I mean, we kind of hoped it would. I secretly was hoping West Coast would get a win just for the meme, but Walshy, 141. Does he become relevant again? Does the injury cloud concern you? I think it's being in a Carlton's a hot and cold sort of team. Maybe they find form. Maybe he does become a bit of an option. A man who should have always been an option, which I dare talk about, is Mr. George Hewitt. A 132 has been Mr. Consistent. Honestly, you can't say a bad word about Hewitt. Has been playing out of his skin. Great trading target if you want a bit of a pod. Seems to be the ever so slightest upgrade on Chera if you didn't start him as well. But speaking of Chera, another Mr. Consistent. For the price that we paid, you can't ask anymore. He's being one of the best picks, starting picks at least, that you could have had or asked for. Moving down the list, Kerno, potentially making a name to be an option later in the season, seems to be finding good form. Cripps bounced back with a 114 as well. So Cripps could be a target with that 54 or 56 in his system. So wait till he bottoms out. And if you're a big fan of the Cripper, definitely get him in. TDK slugged his way through to a 118. Didn't look hot during the game. Wasn't looking like, we were expecting a big blowout game. Obviously, we had a lot of VCs on him as well. just, I don't know what it was. I mean, Williams himself was, very, very abysmal. But look, we take it. If that was your VC on 118, considering the chaos that's happened over the last few weeks with VC and seek options and sometimes struggling to hit a ton, I think the new safe gap is anything over 115. So you take it. Outside of that, the only other person we will talk about here is Carroll to be on the lookout for. A 99k defender. Scoring a 60 is pretty perfect in regards to cash gen wise. You take it as you can. Definitely one for next week, though, as a downgrade. I might be looking early, as I tend to do, to make some trades happen, but I'm very reluctant to do that. More confident on Cleary, go early on. Wouldn't be doing it with Carroll if I was to recommend anything. And as we said, Mackay out with a concussion, missing this week, potentially next week as well. Maybe the Blues find form. I'm sure a little man known as Little Rich, if you know the reference, will be quite happy they got up and about. Into West Coast, the only real 2 players or 3 players we're going to talk about, Marich, an 84, seems to be a safe floor, just has his nice roll of kick-ins, but doesn't seem to be doing too much else exciting outside of his designated role, which again is not a bad thing. Obviously, the better pick out of the Humpty. So if you chose him instead of Humpty or got both, you can easily facilitate Humpty to potentially trade out to Track or Dacos this week as well. Gross making a name for that cash cow this week with an 82. Seems to be the better pick out of Hall. CWT's made comments about Gross's job security being better than Hall's as well. So take it as we can for downgrade options. Really, outside of that, no one else too crazy to talk about. Hall got a 52. Again, we take it. Kind of didn't have any other options last week. We saw that. We'll have a look more in detail when we get to the Freo game. But Dudley was named sub, and he was one of the main, trade targets for downgrades last week that didn't seem to work out. Mark does raise a good point. Archer Reed, this again, still making a name to be the better pick out of the Boyd in R3, turning into a bit of a slow burn, but we have seen that he can have a spike score here and there. Sandy Brock as that 99k defender that we were potentially looking at while Govan is out. Not great. Maybe if he went an 80, as Big J said earlier, probably would have a different discussion about trading targets for downgrades this week. But with a 39, doesn't instill any confidence in anyone, and we're probably going to fade that 99k Rook as an option as well. Nice, quick, and easy. God, take us.
Bubble. Probably not with that crappy score last week.
Yeah, I think there's better targets this week. And if you're looking for a 99k, I probably would almost prefer going early on Carroll, instead of getting in Brock, just because it's probably a easy swap for McGovern when he comes back in. God, take us through what was a really good game until the end, until the Brisbane started getting up.
Yeah, all right.
I don't think Kai stuff happened. Did we just skip over Kai?
They split. Kai went Sydney, and God did Collingwood.
I suppose so. I just feel bad. I'm like, Kai just sitting there looking pretty, being like, hey, jump in.
All right, Kai, take it from God. God can wait. He's too biased on his Magpies win.
This was actually, I would say, just looking quietly, the game of the round, I'd say, in total. So yeah, you had Ed Richards. You basically had Bulldogs. I think they were up 39 midway through the third, and pretty much all their players were scoring heavily. And then in the last quarter, they forgot how to play footy, which was the funniest watch until almost Port Adelaide did the same thing, but on a greater scale. Tim English, if you look at the rucks, I think you're going to have to just start looking at the rucks in the last 3 because, it'll be interesting with what happens with TDK and if there's a potential replacement needed there. But you've got Tim English starting to put his hand up. I know that Brodie Grundy, since the buys, actually looked a lot better with that extra week. So you got him, Tim English, and the likes of Cameron all sort of just in the background, I would say, in case of almost break glass emergency scenario. Ed Richards, know he's been talked up a lot. He's still doing what he needs to do. I'm pretty sure Rookie has him, and that was one of the differentiators between us two, was Richards versus Dawson. One of them went at like 70%. One of them decided to miss every single kick. And then Darcy, this is an interesting one because I think it was maybe one of the revolts was saying that, yes, it's really high scoring at the moment, AFL, but then when we start to turn to winter, you really, the key forwards can start to really just fade out of games. Contested marks and stuff like that become a lot harder. Just we have a lot more wet weather footy and stuff like that. So yes, he's an absolute gun of a player, but if he starts losing just 1 or 2 contested marks a game, that 87 or 90, 100 that he starts to score becomes sort of that 60 to 80 range or somewhere. So that is sort of what I'm considering with him, is just why I've sort of let him stay in the background and develop there. Sanders, I mean, if you still have him, I don't know what he is, probably 350 or so, you'd think, 380. And yeah, he's doing all right, but now is the time to really flip him upwards. And if you somehow still have Fraser, same thing applies there. And then Davidson, he is, I think now with the break even, 293k, there's just a worry that he starts to really go down in price or starts that negative fall, and you start to really lose the cash generation that he's already created. If he goes and scores a 20 or 30, which is possible, he starts to be around that 280k, which is just, it's like you've done all the hard work only for him to drop down. So I would be definitely consider trading him and then just moving Levi Ashcroft into the forward line. Then we can talk about Brisbane all day. To be honest, I think I labeled one of my videos saying that they could have 4 of the top 15 mids. That's how good their midfield is, and that's with Levi Ashcroft playing forward. That's how good their midfield is, of McCluggage, Will Ashcroft, Dunkley, Neil, and then they also have guys coming in the draft. That their midfield is going to be stacked for like 20 years. That's how good it is. McCluggage is probably up there. I would put him above Hewitt in terms of pod territory, but I think he's another couple of % owned. Will Ashcroft has gone, 130, 130, 110, something like that. So he's back to his best and really producing. Dunkley had a really good first quarter. I think he was on 30, 35. And then I was going, damn, I really shouldn't have traded Whitfield in instead of Dunkley, but Dunkley forgot how to play footy for the second, third, and fourth quarter, which was good. Fletcher's taken some of the role of Zorko, which is a big sort of worry these last couple of weeks. But then again, if you look at the first couple of weeks, he had the exact same role and was going 40. So expect that to probably flip back to Zorko. Zorko's probably just putting his feet up at the moment and getting through the year. Neil's copping tags. And then Eric Hipwood did that in a half. And that's about it for Brisbane.
I'm very happy that Levi has kept the form, which is very, very good.
Been good. Levi, honestly, what a great starting pick he has been. And now he gets the forward DPP to pretty much replace Davidson. Can't ask for anything better from a rookie pick. Big J, do you want to run us through? Because I know God's called dibs on a certain game. So we're going to order it a little bit differently.
Certain 12 Supercoach points.
So I've got the Joe, I've got the Mark who's watching the show as well. Pseudo kind of being sucked into supporting Essendon a little bit with Zach Merritt coming into my team this week. Max Gawn back to his best. Probably could have scored a bit more. Definitely dropped a few marks as well. So, three clangers, 17 contested possessions. Started to go big once Nick Bryan injured himself. Unfortunately, I think he's done his ACL, so he's going to be out for a fair length of chat. What happens with Sammy Draper? We'll kind of cover that as well. But, Max Gawn, 145, very happy. Kept the faith after a couple of poor scores and been rewarded a little bit. Langdon, 119, probably not relevant Supercoach-wise. Petrarca, 96. Few people talking about he looks gassed. I don't know if you guys are watching the game or not, but third quarter, he just looked gassed. He's busting his guts. I don't know if it's a fitness preseason thing. I don't know if it's the running. Must take a lot out of you being that big, because he is fairly muscly too, like having to bust his guts every week and go for contests and whatnot. maybe the fitness is coming to him as well. Only went at 60%, still got in with just under 100. Moving down the list, Rivers, probably not a selection anymore if you have him. Harvey Langford with the 67. So a few people brought him in when Lindsay got injured. They've been rewarded a tiny bit, I guess is the right word to say. You obviously didn't start him, so nice scoring there if you had him in your team. Xavier Lindsay with the 48 wasn't great, made basically his break even, and that was it. I think slowly they're weeding him into the game, and he did only play 64% game time. So it is something to take into consideration there a little bit with his scoring. I think he'll be okay coming back to Melbourne. I mean, we saw it with North Melbourne, right? There was a few players who just got tanked, and I think he was one of those players just from the heat. Moving down the list, Stephen May, probably not relevant. That's probably about it for Melbourne. Jack Henderson, talk about him, got subbed off. Harry Sharp's already taken his spot, I think, and Henderson, look, he might not play again. And I think we were very lucky to get the 13. Did a couple of things in the first quarter and then just disappeared. I actually forgot he was playing. To be honest, I actually forgot he was playing. And then when he got subbed off, I'm like, oh, I had to go and check someone's phone to see if he got subbed off. Like, just because he just wasn't there. So not that great. Heading over to the Bombers, who did come out with the win. Zach Merritt, 124. No goals for Zach Merritt this week, even though he did set up a couple. Looking like he is going to be a fantastic lock for the next couple of weeks. Essendon do play West Coast. Now, if you're Mark and you've got Sammy Draper in your team, who is going to be playing majority ruck now, is not playing BJ Williams, probably isn't going to play Matt Flynn. For 11K could be a sneaky selection with DPP. So we'll see what happens there. Will Setterfield, nice to have him back. The setter goat, as Joe says, 110, probably not relevant in Supercoach. Nick Martin is one that I'm definitely tracking quite heavily. Always had a lot of game time. And with the new forward role, we can actually get some cheeky DPP out of him as well. So, yeah, I think he's probably a lot of people have locked in their top 6 forwards. I think Nick Martin definitely could be a very good selection. Even as I think how much is Nick Martin at the moment? 1 second, fellas.
Like 514.
Yeah, so 516K has dropped a little bit, but I think his break even is slowly resetting. So break even of 113 at the moment. Maybe you've got one more week of cheapy Nick Martin. But even if you brought him in and your forward line's finished, you chuck him in the back line or whatever you're going to do and say, hey, Ben Patton, Connor Stone, maybe they're just going to be slow burns for the season. I've got Nick Martin who can now cover both positions alongside the flex. So could be a very, very good selection there, if not now, for the future. Archie Roberts, 107, fantastic season. Jordan Ridley went bang as well. Melbourne just give up points to halfbacks, man. If you're a defender in opposition team, hey, you hope you play Melbourne every week. And it's why I went and picked Zach Reid on field this week. Took kick-ins, does everything, 104, very, very good. If you're Tim Mitchell, you're in a bit of trouble because you traded him out like 3 weeks ago. And Zach Reid has, I think, the 3rd lowest break even at the moment with a negative 60. So, hey, these guys are almost primos. And now I've got him and Trainer in my back line on the field. Moving down the list, Sard, I think we've covered him quite extensively. Came in as the sub fairly early, though, because Nick Bryan was there. Definitely looked a little bit hampered as well by the poor weather. Supercoach, not too bad. Yeah, got smashed by the poor weather, I think, as well, but came out with the 67. Look, if there's no downgrade targets next week, you bring him in at 130K. I think that's a fair assessment. And then, yeah, that's probably about it. Isaac Kako. A lot of people trading out Henderson. Kako is probably a hold for one more week. I think he's got a break even of 16, so you hope he's going to do that and could definitely have the game this week where he resets his break even. So I know West Coast fans are not very happy about it, but Kako probably is a hold compared to a couple of other players. I don't think I've missed anyone, guys, but yeah, nice win for Essendon on the winners table. So, yeah.
Who is looking to bring in Merritt? Anyone got his number?
I put out my video. I currently have Merritt in the team. Yeah, really good run, I think.
My smoky potential trade-in would be Mr. Sam Draper. They're probably going to bring in Peter Wright to assist, but I mean, Draper put up a 110 against Gawn himself. Could he be a sneaky F6 if he weren't keen on track? It's a good price. He's a low 400s, a bit sneaky. Could pay out, but again, it's one of those risky ones that you might have to look at. But he's a smoky. So if you're keen on someone like that and you want to play different to the rest of the pack, definitely have a look into him, I reckon.
Let's get Briggs and Sam Draper.
Yeah, 100%. If anyone's going to do it out of us,
Archer
four, it's
Reed,
definitely
R3.
Oh, he's definitely tempting. I like it. It's a tempting pick.
I think I have seen Mark there. Did we touch on Roberts?
A little bit. I just think he's overpriced. I think it's a bit too late to bring him in, and he's a little bit inconsistent. Defenders were just going ham against Melbourne, so yeah, kind of isn't great for that situation.
Very good. I'll take this one. Kyle will take the next, and then we'll give it to God to wrap us up. Honestly, what else did we expect from this game? Let's be completely real here. It's the Young Tigers versus a Freo that absolutely just dominated them. Look, Richmond really barely anyone to talk about. Laylor was out. So for those that held after the nice game, just a bit of a loop option for you this week. Nate the Tank, being a very good potty ruck option, seems to be finding form and maybe one of the more consistent rucks this year so far. May not be the same come end of season, but definitely one to look. The amazing Jaden Short finally turned up after most people had traded him out finally. So seems a bit poetic, really. The week after, almost everyone should have traded him out and moved him on. He finally turns up. So there you go. It does. Sometimes they do it just to spite us, I think. Luke Traynor, again, one of those defensive rookies that are just proving that they are fieldable. They are good holders on the field while we try to fix up the rest of the team. They can make you cash. They can give you some 80s, even 100s like a Zach Reed did. You just love to see it. Outside of that, there's really no one else to talk about from the Tigers. Going into Freo, what a game from Mr. Andy Brayshaw. I mean, everyone was expecting a high game. They were probably thinking around the 130s, but this man popped off for a 155, rewarding anyone who put the captaincy on him. Definitely helped some teams back up into the 2300s or save some scores into the 2250s and around that mark. Tracy, just an absolute gun of a forward. I mean, he's almost unstoppable in this Freo team. You really can't fault him. He's just so solid. Clark, again, probably one of the more scary, not scary, but stressful watches just to get a ton. He somehow seems to do it every game. He's always there. He has patches. But again, from a player who, this seems like his flaw, really, when you think about it, is a 104. Holders were hoping for a bit of a spike game. Sarong, again, someone you were hoping from a higher score. If you definitely, it was a throw up between Sarong and Brayshaw for captaincies. They threw the Macintosh wannabe trader tagger with him. Seemed to do a bit of work. Kept him quiet in some moments, but again, got his way through to 103. You still take it as a captaincy score, considering some of the scores that were going around the park. Really, no one else here. Young came back with a nice 79. Not really looking as an option, but one to watch in case he does pick up form like he did last season. Murphy Reed, 58. Definitely looking like time to bank in the cash. Maybe not this week, as he's still a good fieldable option, in my opinion, but one to make in your trade plans as well. For those that held Luke Ryan or traded him in, 52. So his cash is going to plummet again. Got subbed out. Just absolute shambles for holders or anyone that traded him in. It seems like it's just going to be Clark's year. So Clark was definitely the correct starting pick there. So we'll just go Switz. He came back. We did see that with him coming back into the team, Dudley was either going to be dropped or named sub, and that's exactly what we saw. Dudley came in as the sub. So if you did bring him in as a trade-in option, not what you want to see. Cash gen is probably stalled, and that's for a 99k rookie. So might just be a loop that you use potentially and add him to the list along with Boyd. Just a nice, quick, easy one.
Just quickly on Clark. I think Clark might be a good VC option this week. He's playing Melbourne.
Definitely
Could
league
definitely
points.
see a spike score from Clark.
For sure. For sure. Good shout there, Gord. Hi, give us the rundown.
Well, this game was kind of a real blowout in the end. I mean, GWS decided to put down tools. I think it was at 3/4 time. And so, yeah, it was the game of halfbacks is what I'll start off by saying. Wayne Malira, 24 touches and 3 goals, 133. That kind of feels like he always finds a way to get to this 100, 110 marker. And then it's just depending on his sort of big moments in games, whether he gets up towards that 130. I don't think he has that 150, 160 in him comparative to other guys like Holmes and Stewart and other halfbacks. But he's going to be the most consistent halfback in the whole, I mean, alongside probably Clark, I would say. And then you have Sinclair I think he copped I want to say it was Harvey Thomas. I think he copped Harvey Thomas at least for the first little bit. And so he came off in the end strongly. I think he had a really good second and ended up on a 108. And then we can basically, if you still have Hugo Garcia through that sub in round 2 and everything, he's still doing enough that I don't think you got to trade, but maybe consider it. I don't know who the injury list for St Kilda, if they have another mid coming back, that could be interesting there. And then Max Hall, I think he's in the same boat as Davidson because 62 there. His cash gen is near enough. I think he might still get another 30, 40K, but if you can trade him out now and use that extra cash comparative to like a Stone or a Hewitt or a Henderson, that extra 60, 70K that you're going to get immediately and get that, say, a Dacos instead of a Petrarca type pick, then you're getting 20 points a week each week for however long it takes you to get Dacos. And that's pretty much anyone who went early with Travalia got stuffed over. I think he just had 3 or 4 clangers that just stuffed him over and he didn't get much of the ball. So there was probably the better pick was just saving the money with the lower of a Clay Hall. And this week is probably going to be the same thing with just getting those cheaper rookies that aren't sub. And then for GWS, Lockie Ash had a magnet with in the ball or something. He was on about 20 touches, I think 10 minutes into the second quarter. He just was getting so many 1-2s, and I think he was already on about 70 Supercoach at that point, maybe 80 odd. He slowed down a little bit and only got to 33 touches, 9 marks. But there's a couple in that GWS backline that are just in that, I would say, in the defender line 10 to 20 bracket for scoring. And he just seems to be doing what he needs to be doing at the moment. Toby Green, he kicked 5. I'm not looking at him just at the moment. Tom Green, another guy that, like Wangdi Malira, but a midfielder, he feels like the guy that's just going to score 110 regularly, I feel like. And he can probably work his way through tags, but I don't know if he has that big ceiling score in him comparative to other guys. And then Whitfield sucks to trade in a sub-ton, doesn't it, rookie? That was just, that was not fun.
I mean, the writing,
I think he had
was
a
on
little
the
bit
wall,
of tension.
really, wasn't it? Like, we saw the stats.
Yeah, when you trade in four tons in a row, that you just know you're going to cop something bad, don't you?
And they're at Norwood,
where
they're pretty bad. Yeah, the scores haven't been great at Norwood. It was,
Yeah. And then Briggs 36 hit outs for Briggs 36 hit outs, 84. It's just like, I just think he sits 10 or 15 points below the other ruckman, and the other ruckman have dropped 10 or 15 points in itself. So just shows the sort of staggeredness with the ruck line. I think Darcy Cameron would have been the better sideways trade off of someone, but yeah.
That's what God doesn't want to hear that.
How do you have 36 hit outs and not bloody ton up? Is that a joke?
Well, what did Flynn do? Well, didn't he have 20 odd hit outs for 12? Oh, sorry, Williams. So
yeah, well, Williams is
you never know, I guess.
He's a
but
dud.
Finn Callahan he seems to be losing the top end disposals. He seems to have dropped from like that 30-35 bracket to those mid 20s, and just those extra 5-10 touches, even if you go efficiently, it just drops your sort of ability to score. We'll see that in the last game with Rosie. And then Connor Stone, if you ever wanted to get sort of just every little ounce out of him, he might still be going up by 500 coins at the end of the year and not have a down week, but just progressively go up by 1,000 a week. He has no ability like Finn O'Sullivan to get that top end score. And yeah, the promise was there with him after being a VFL Player of the Year, but he just is not working in that back line for GWS at the moment. But that is that game there.
Beautiful. I mean, look, Whitfield, it's still going to be top line. Just one of those.
Oh, yeah.
To bring him in. Just you wear it. I'll cop it. Captain him. I'll go down with the ship. Fine. It's so fine. God, you requested this to make it good.
I just want to have a celebration for Ken. We love Ken. We love what he brings to the
I hate
AFL
Ken
world.
so much. I hate his guts so much.
Oh, I love him, mate. He gives a bit of theatre, and Hockball is dead. Oh, nothing could be better. Nothing could be better. Hockball is dead. Pies are on top of them on the ladder. And everything's right with the world. I mean, it's great. I mean, and this man, Connor Rosie, yippee. He is an absolute jet. And going back into the half-back line, he was drafted as a half-back player, to my surprise, from what I heard over the weekend. And yeah, he really just showed us why he was drafted as a half-backer, I guess. He was dominant. He was taking intercept marks. He was good defensively. He could get his own pill. He was taking a few kickouts. He also kicked the 2 goals, which helps a lot. Nearly kicked 3. And yeah, so if you held him, you'd be very, very happy. I saw a comment. It was something like, would you go, where is it? I think it was, would you go Rosie, Track, or Chad Warner this week? And he hadn't owned any of them this year. I would go Rosie.
Yeah, probably fair.
In my opinion, if he's got this roll down pat, they're going to be tagging Butters, going to be tagging Rosie. He could have an absolutely massive year. He could be. He'll probably be top 6 defender. I reckon. But yeah, anyway, Butters just reminding us how good he is at football. Like, he is an absolute freak. He's so tough. He gets the in and under. He gets the outside ball. He does everything in between. So I think that will be the player everyone gets in after the round 12 bye. The Horny Man, another great hold if you held him. Another player you'd be looking to trade in. I'm sorry, Big J, that I'm glazing these players because I know it hurts, but yeah.
Absolutely going.
Well, I traded out Horn Francis. Like, realistically, right? At the point that both of them were scoring, it was the right idea for me to trade them out. One, I think Rosie had like a 60 and then a 70. The week before, he didn't look that great either. Horn Francis had 2 sub-tons and was 540k. So trading out both outside of costing me 2 trades was the right move. It's just that Port Adelaide stopped being a dropkick team, and now they've decided, hey, with Butters back in the team, that they're going to start performing. So the last couple of weeks have been fantastic for them. Supercoach differential between both is very, very good as well. So yeah, just unlucky, really. May look to get Rosie back in at some point. We'll see.
Jordan Sweet, surprisingly, is a very restrictive ruck this year. I think he's the most restrictive ruck from memory, but Meek was still able to ton up. Willem Drew playing absolutely full-time mid now. I think he had the most CBAs apart from the ruckman this week, showing because obviously Rosie went into the back line and Drew can't really play anywhere else. So maybe there's a case to be made there. I don't think so. I think you've already got your Rosie, Butters, Horn, Francis, who are going to take up most of your points every week. So it's going to be hard for them to have this many players ton up every single week. Joe Richards I'm just sad that we got rid of him, to be honest. I knew he was going to be good, but yeah, it's just annoying. But no, he played very well. Powell Pepper as well. I mean, I tell you what, you'd be pretty mad if you traded him out early for round 1 or round 2 or whatever. Yeah, there you go.
He had the Rochelle. You guys remember if you used to play Supercoach maybe 3 years ago when Rochelle was an option and didn't do very well in Supercoach and then had like an 80 game and then reset his cash gen and then ended up at like 350k. I feel like that's going to be Powell Pepper.
Yeah. Well, I'm all right. I didn't start him, so I'm almost all right with him doing this. But yeah, bit annoying for those who have traded him out. Who else do we have here? Marias. I don't know if there's anyone in between there. Marias. I think you hold. I think his job security is pretty good. I don't know if they've got anyone left to come in that will take that spot off him. But and Josh Thin, time to get off him. Failed pick if you did grab him. A bit sad. I mean, I was hot on him. I was very hot on him. You guys know, and I'm lucky I didn't go there. But yeah, I think it's time to get off him if you went there. And that's about it for Port. Hawthorn.
I will say a smoky for Port because there is the chance that the role sticks at some point. Jace Burgoyne, he was getting some halfback time in a few games, has now got DPP. If he somehow locks in a halfback role, he could be a good smoky. Just quietly.
Yep.
He's still starting wing. But he has been known to swing back and start in halfback in some games. So considering that we've seen Rosie swing back there now, and I think they're looking to find what sticks. So if Burgoyne sticks, definitely keep an eye on him because he's had some really good games from halfback.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, Hawthorn, Meek did all right. I mean, if you have him, you'd be pretty happy. 105 is just a good score, good solid score. Newcomb, people looking at Newcomb now a bit more, I think, because Will Day is out. Probably someone you can't really tag either because he gets a lot of inside ball. So it'd be pretty difficult to tag. So he could be an option potentially. Don't really see it, but there's a chance. Sicily 102. Gee, if you have Sicily, you'd be a bit lucky that he got those 2 goals in the last quarter, I reckon. I don't think he was doing too well. Dylan Moore getting a lot of CBAs, a viable option in the forward line, I think. And who else do we have here? So that might be it.
Yeah, there's not many Hawks players.
Yep.
Really.
And Amon, if you have Amon, 79 is not great.
So glad I did not bring him in, just quietly.
Yeah. And Warple looks like he might have done something. I don't know. I think it was his ankle again. So, yeah, Dylan Moore probably getting more CBAs, which could be good.
Does Warple go at the end of the year? Does he stay?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, they got to open up a spot. They got to open up some cash for bloody Harley Reid, Oscar Allen, and everyone else in between. So, yeah, I'm not too sure.
With that being the last game, everyone, we're going to check out our weekly rankings and then smash out your questions for the next 20 minutes or so. So maybe I'll say, if you guys want to, those that are watching, any questions you've got, chuck them in now, and then we'll smash them out. I'll try and catch up with a few other ones as well. We did this week. Oh, did that not work? That totally did not work. Sorry. No. Oh, we'll figure it out. Big J, what's going on? It's not working.
Overlay.
Oh, your overlay did not work. There you go. Haha. Scores from this week. Kai, you're up first. I'm changing things up. Nope, you are currently muted.
Yep, that about sums up my week being muted when I talk. I had 1 week of glory. Yeah, it looked so great on the until Dawson decided to stink it all up, and that's why he was safely my worst player of the week. 21-33, and I like to change it up a little bit with the best player, not just go the highest scorer, but I think just the value of Zach Reed's 104, just in best 22, your rookies can really change up how you score, and his 104, I mean, it didn't really matter in the long run because of Trainer and guys like that all scoring, but with Connor O'Sullivan, and I want to say there was another backline rookie that go in like 40 or 50 or whatever, his 104 really was absolutely huge. And then, yeah, I lost another 2,000 ranks, 23,000 or so. But if Dawson or my premiums don't have another shocker, maybe, just maybe, I can get into the top 20K. But yeah, Rookie, do you want to take over?
Oh, look, 21-66, not a horrible score, but definitely one I was probably due for. Had been hitting par due to the best 18s. So look, at the end of the day, I only went down around 1,000 spots, still maintaining top 1%. So I really can't be mad at all. Gorney did the job on a Sam Draper to get us a massive 145, I think, in the end. And then Whitfield, purely just because I captained him, was trying to be a bit potty against a matchup I had in a cash league just to try and have some fun. Did not work out. I hate Norwood. This is going to be a burned-in memory for next year, gather around. So don't do anything with halfbacks or anything when Norwood's involved. That's the lesson here. But overall, very happy. Still at 1%. Going to bounce back. Going to be fine. God, walk us through your nice score.
Yeah, look, I thought I was actually in the bin this week. I thought you guys were having projected scores of 2,300. Mine was like 2,150 and all this stuff. I think it was because you guys had your Sinclairs and your Whitfields that had very high projecteds. But
and McRae that was like a 130, then got a 70.
Well, of course. But we all have him.
That's true.
I genuinely thought there was no way I was cracking 2,200 until my best player this week, Mr. Connor Rozee, and you could almost put JHF in there for 2 weeks in a row. I mean, these guys really clutched up for me, getting the job done. If it wasn't for them, I would have been dropping ranks this week. But yeah, and worst player, controversial one, but Dunkley 88, trade him in this week for 600K. It's just not what you want. Could have gone an Ando, could have gone a Brayshaw, but chose Dunkley. Hopefully he can bounce back this week. Just don't play too well because still want Colin to win. But yeah, no, probably worst player in my opinion this week. Overall rank of 11,459. So I've had a look back and we've gone up in rank every single week since round 1. So it's good signs. We're slowly climbing up. But yeah, hopefully we can continue that run. But yeah, I mean, overall, pretty happy with my week. Big J.
I think it's 2 or 3 weeks in a row now of having the cup. It's make poor decisions and somehow go Riley Thilthorpe in this week for the 65. Don't know what I was thinking. Figured out if, and you guys would know from all my Twitter comments, but if I had kept Rosie, traded out Roberts, I would have probably been plus 200 points this week. So it is rough, the decisions we make in Supercoach, and could have cracked 2,400, which would have been fantastic for us, but almost in the top 1,000, which is where we want to be, about 450 points away from rank number 1, which is, last week I was 500 points away from rank 1. So, making up some ground on that. Brayshaw for the captain this week. I'm not going to jinx myself, but I think I've almost had the best player I've got in terms of scoring every week as my captain. So worked out pretty well for us there. Yeah, it's just kind of on and upwards this week, trying to figure out if I want to, potentially get rookies off the field or, go for finishing off the team and then have 6 players on and M8 kind of being a bit of a stain on my existence at the moment. So, yeah, bit of a rough one there, fellas. Let's make this work. 1 second. We'll figure this out. Done. All right. Let's smash out your comments, guys. We've got 10, 15 minutes left to go. We'll get all these done, and then we'll go from there. Sam Darcy, a legit top 6 forward, guys. Maybe we'll do rapid fire.
I don't think so. I mean, Kai made a great point earlier about once you get to wet weather footy, it's a lot more difficult to clunk those contested marks than it is when you're 210 centimeters and it's a dry football and no one can reach your arms. So, yeah, I think he is a fine option. If you've traded him in the past 3 or 4 weeks, it's fine. Like, he'll still be around the mark. Just probably not top 6 for mine, I don't think.
Okay. Top 3 rookies and top 3 primos this week. Ducky. I think looking at rookies, we've spoken about it. Cleary, Gross, potentially Sard as well. We've gone over Ned Long as a potential option. In terms of primos, guys, we'll grab 1 primo each from you guys as potentially a must-have this week.
I mean, does Ned Long count as a primo as well?
Yeah, mate. I mean, top 8. Top 8.
I mean, people said the same thing about Marriott too, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm gonna go Merritt.
Kai,
who's your must-have primo this week? That's not Merritt.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think Sarong's gonna bounce back this week. He does have Melbourne as well, and I don't think he's gonna cop any attention. So I think he bounces back and 589k. I think he's a guy that could go on a big run.
And I'm gonna say Nicky Dacos. Nicky Dacos is the best primo to go this
I left that one for you.
Yeah, I know you did, man. I know you did. I know you because I'm pretty sure you might be getting him in this week. So yeah, but yeah, Nicky Dacos, or if you want to go a value primo, just pick up Ned Long, or steal side bottom. There's all of them. You can pick all of them.
Nah, fair enough. My pick is actually someone who we've spoken about before, and potentially that's a George Hewitt. If you don't have a Chero in your team, super low break even, he's going to be 600k if he has a good week against North Melbourne. And given how dodgy we are, he could end up being a half decent captaincy option as well. Likes to kick goals from outside 50. It's weird how they use him out of the centre bounce too. Like, Chero's really got to fight for these points, whereas Hewitt's the guy that they actually look to drive the ball into the forward 50. So, yeah, a bit of a miss in terms of selection, but still very gettable. Probably after this week, not. And he's only in 2% of sides. So if you're very, very, you want a bit of a midfield pod, it's not too bad there.
And you want to stick it to me and come and join my channel?
And every week you can say, how's Hewitt going? Yeah. Would you trade out Trainer? No. I think that's probably a bit silly. Heck, I'm trying to get Trainer on field because he's currently stuck on my bench. There goes George Hewitt's got a lock.
I think Hippo's trading out Trainer.
She is.
Well,
she is.
Hippo's currently double-digit rank, so Hippo can do whatever he wants until it crashes and burns with trading out trainers. So there you go. Sin to track or Stuart, guys?
Go track. Stuart's next week.
Yep. Agree.
Definitely. Seen Big J's video and trades. 2 opposite thoughts to Jay trading out Fulham primos. Yeah, it's I think a little bit of that was, recording at 1 o'clock in the morning. I think a lot of that, though, was being slightly confident in a few of my players. Looking at my team, I'm almost happy to run 3 guys in the back line on field. Trainer, Reed, and Bice if it means I can get rookies off the field in other spots. In the video there, the worst position I did have was M8, which is a toss between Hall and Gross and whoever else is on there. So, yeah, you just got to kind of feel comfortable. I think spending my last boost this week, I want to make the most of it. And if that means getting 2 rookies off the field, okay. If that means, being confident in every primo that I've got in my team, I think that's fair enough as well. Boy, Ryan Marrick's going to be a real piggy when he figures out what a contested mark is. There you go. Mark is sticking fat with Marrick. I assume you guys, if you've got Marrick, you're keeping him for a while, yeah?
Surely you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably the last person you upgrade. Like,
yeah. Sarong was supposed to go 150 and not Brayshaw. I was feeling real good about boosting Rosie to Brayshaw after the Freo game. Changed quickly when that bastard transformed to Connor Houston. There you go. Making it work out. Sorry, I'm just trying to find out. Here we go. Would you guys trade out Murphy Reed? Probably not, right? Like, he's similar to a Marrick in my eyes, at least, where he's best 22. He's due for a spike game at any point. They use him across the field. He's not going to get dropped at any point soon. Like, you'd almost want to sideways other rookies before you even think about him, right? Maybe him to a straight primo.
I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
He's gone
Okay.
50, 75, 106, 73, 58. If you take out the 4 goals in a minute or whatever, he really isn't. He's very, very similar to Davidson, I would say, and has, I think, a 45 break even. So I think it's now, in the next week or two, it's go with Murphy Reed, because I don't like that role that he has. It's too reliant on goals.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm just pissed off. I'd never had him.
Yeah, me too.
No. I say all that, but I wish I had him for the 160k price rise.
Oh, mate.
It would be so much easier to upgrade this week if I had him.
Over Hall.
How did we pick Hewitt instead of Murphy Reed? I just
Just dumb, stupid idiots.
5 points more or something. And then, it was a bit dumb.
Yeah.
There you go. Keep Murphy Reed plays Melbourne. Daddy goes under 45. Big Bubba, how you doing, mate? Thoughts on Reed, Davidson, and O'Sul to Gross, Cleary, and Nick Dacos? Look, I don't mind it. If these guys are on field, potentially you can grab someone else and take away a rookie from the field. Why not? Hewitt, a good pick this week. Ooh, sorry?
I said lock that trade in. You're getting like fresh cash gen and an absolute primo with Dacos. Like, lock it in.
There you go. Hewitt, a good pick this week. Yeah, well, you kind of heard that as well.
I'll talk to you after the stream, Brad.
You're going to cop Hewitt all season. Just wait to see.
I'm going to have to put a multi on him at this point.
Yeah, do it. He's going to kick 3 goals against North this week. Just to spite.
Is Hewitt just going to be a muted word for you, rookie?
Yeah, I'm going to put a big filter on X and YouTube.
Yeah. We'll have to. Well, I've got the max score, and we'll have to find a George Hewitt. If he goes big, you can put it in like the background or something.
All right, so I'll put a bet on, right? If George Hewitt goes 130 plus this week again, I'm going to find a George Hewitt poster and put it up behind me.
Done. Locked it in,
go.
fellas. Keep him to it as well next week. Keep him to it as well. Michael says maybe a double down this week. Hendo and Davo to Clearo and Grosso. Mate, you must be very Australian because there's a lot of O's at the end of those names. Grosso, Hendo, Clearo. There you go. Thoughts on the use of 3 boosts now? Now, I've always been a bit of like this season. I think I've kind of hamstrung myself by picking so many 450k players. And yes, Rosie, Horn, Francis, whatever. But best time is to use them now and then keep going in terms of the trades. There is a world where, cool, round 6, 7, 8, we upgrade some players. Round 12, 12 onwards, we get 3 trades anyway, so it's fine. There's no problems there. Just make sure you've got enough injury trades, Lobster. I think for myself, not sure about these fellas, but I always try and say, however many rookie spots you've got left on field or in your team that you want to upgrade, try and allocate 3 trades towards that. So if I've got 8 spots, I need to have 24 trades. If I've got 9 spots, I need 27 and so And then, whatever you've got left is injury trades. If you can go 1 up, 1 down, you're doing very well. Or 2 up, 1 down, things like that to try and balance it out. So, yeah, it works out quite nice. Mark, 2056, unlucky Mark. Neil, but my captain on Whitfield instead of Zach. I switched before the Essendon game. Well, mate, no, you didn't keep the faith. You're an Essendon man. You didn't keep the faith. So, unlucky. Thoughts on these trades, Josh? Whitfield, Dacos, and Gross in. Roberts, Saligo, and Davidson out, guys. 3 guys that, Saligo, I think you would have hoped to be a keeper, but get Whitfield, Dacos, and Gross in. What do you guys think?
Whitfield might go down a bit more. He's got a Jordan tag next week.
I don't mind it. Like, if you're burdening the trades while you got them and you just want to lock in your keepers and not have to worry about price rises or anything more to focus on other areas, I don't mind it. Like, there is a case to be made for waiting for Whitfield and playing a bit of the value game for sure. But at the same time, there's all the play that, like we saw everyone hold it on Dacos because he had the Jordan tag, and look what happened. Yeah. May not be the same case for Whitfield by all means, but I mean, if you started Saligo, for example, and you're burning 1 trade to get him out, I'd love these trades because you're locking 2 in for the rest of your season. Whereas Roberts and Saligo were kind of always a stepping stone.
Yeah, that's fair. Thoughts on Matt Roberts, guys? Probably nearing towards the end. Has dropped in cash for the first time this week and fairly high break even. So if you want to get rid of him, probably looking at doing that soon. Is the double downgrade viable this week? I'm looking at Henderson to Gross, Stone to Cleary. Cool. Okay. Not too bad. Just the only problem with the double downgrade, Jono, is like, I think later down you said you've got 4 boosts left, which is fantastic. You're missing out on some of these really good prices for players. Like that 280K is the difference between you having a rookie or a primo on field. Like, spend it. I know you probably want to be like, yeah, I triple upgraded next week for the gloating, but there's some really good value players at the right price. So unless you're banking on, hey, I hope to get someone in that I've got my eye on that's going to drop in price, okay. But yeah, it's pretty good at the moment.
I've got a plan for him. Get Ned Long at 280K.
Just have like a spare player and be like, yep, Ned Long, you're in. Done.
Yep.
Should you buy for cash gen with Gross and Cleary or buy a premium like they? I think you should try and do both. Supercoach is very cash generation orientated, Stuart. And we need to, if you look at your team value and whatnot, you need to have about $13.5 million to finish off your team. So you need to get cash gen in whenever you can. Because a lot of us now have starting to have dead rookies, Moraes, Henderson, Camporelli, Patton, Stone in the back line, Kako on like Kako as well. 1 up, 1 down is probably the best thing that you can do. Ranking 44,000 guys, please. Mate, members live stream tomorrow. Trying to work out who will end up being the top 3 rucks this year, guys. Predictions for top 3 rucks.
I reckon Gorn might be R1 as much as it kills me to say it, because I could have got this guy at 570K or whatever instead of Briggs. But I reckon Gorn, TDK all depends on Pito. If Pito doesn't come back in, he's top 3. And I reckon Sherry eventually will come back into form. I reckon Sherry post-buy will go. I reckon Sherry post-buy will be R1, but until Sherry's buy, it will be Gorn.
Yeah. Coach, top 3 rucks.
Look, yeah, Gorn, Meek. I reckon Cameron's going to get there.
Nice. Bye.
Yeah, Gordon, and I think TDK will survive through a week of Pitnet, and then I think Harry Mackay comes back and Pitnet stuffs back off to the VFL, and then stuffs off away from Carlton, and then I think Darcy Cameron over all the other mentions. I think he's just plodding along at the moment, 110s.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go Gorn, Cameron for the sneaky pick as Kai's gone. I'm going to go a bit crazy and go big Sammy Draper. So we'll see what happens with that. I think there's a few players at that number 3, but as Mark would love it, there you go. Should Gross and Cleary increase a fair bit in a couple of games? Yet, probably projected for 100k over the next 3 if they all play. So just hope the scoring is there. Philthorpe looks so bad. Defs no Swim Darcy. Yep. I'm really sad I brought him in, hence why I wanted to get him out. I don't know if this is stupid, but I might actually bring in Draper in the forward line if you solo Rucks. And that's very, very good selection, as Mark says. The later buy as well, with a few of us that have a McRae, a Daniel, and some other players in there. It's always good to get a late buy player. LDU so cheap, but I don't want to watch North games. There you go, understand. What are you doing with Callahan, also Gross or Cleary? You can hold if you want to, but I'd probably get rid of him, which is why I got rid of him last week. Gross or Cleary, guys? Were you going on Gross?
I reckon I've been swayed towards Gross now, to be honest.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
I went 2 upgrades last week, 1 up, 1 down. Should I prioritize 2 downgrades this week, or 4th boost to go 2 up to 1 up? I personally think, as I said before, cash gen is key. And right now, over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to see people not be able to make any trades and upgrades in their team. So you want to go 2 down, 1 up if you can. Offload them, bank that 100k if you can from players, even 50k off some dead rookies like Henderson's looking to be. Because, probably round 8, 9 is when people are like, holy shit, I don't have enough. And they're praying for rookies to start playing. And yeah, we might just not get them at all. So Nightfall, do that. Hippo has no boost left, so we'll hurt him in the long run. There you go. Trainer has Melbourne in 2 weeks. He's going to make 150k still going. Merritt or Dacos? I'll get the other one the other week. Probably Merritt then, because Merritt plays Essendon in a big ground. So he's basically playing at the MCG, just in WA. And then Dacos, I think break even is still Dacos break even is
120.
still like 120, yeah. So we'll be all right there. Are you guys planning on trading in Stewart, or is he a no-go? Now, I traded in Stewart, and then he got injured, and then I traded him out. So I don't know how I feel about. I don't know how it's like McKercher. Joe had this problem with McKercher last year. 300k out in, and then ended up getting stuck with him. So I don't know about the durability, man.
I mean, I started him. I'm more than happy to bring him back in if he looks good. I mean, he's my doppelganger. I gotta can't fade my doppelganger. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna get injured again. I'm then gonna have a George Stewart poster right here and a Tom Stewart poster right here. Then
I have a question in regards to rookies to field this week. Are you fielding, if you had to choose, are you fielding and you can't loop? Are you fielding Lindsay or Gross?
Ooh.
how about option C? How about both?
It doesn't work for me, unfortunately.
Oh, well. I dare say Gross just in case Lindsay still has managed Tog.
Yeah, potentially. I think I'm going to end up filling both unless I do some drastic changes in the team. But yeah, I think both. Or Lynn's probably Gross is probably the way to go.
Yep.
Yeah, fair, Kai?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a way in which I'm going to be fielding both, I think, over like Moraes. I think that's an obvious one, but just trying to figure out a way to get the 3 big defenders on the rookie defenders on field, which is danger times, is all I'll say.
Yeah. Matt Roberts out, Sheasel to the midfield, frees up a bit of space for you. What's the go with captains this week? Ooh, no? Yeah. What's the go with captains this week? There is a few. Really depends on your matchups, though. Someone against North is always a good thing. You can go a Brisbane player at the Gabba. anyone playing West Coast and then Freo defenders against Melbourne are always really good too. I don't know about Clark though. He doesn't intercept, which is probably, if you look at all the Essendon defenders that went big, they all can jump. I don't think Clark does that anymore. So, yeah, we'll do some more captaincy stuff throughout the week. Thoughts on Peatling and Davidson to Long and Draper? I know you're a big Long fan.
That's actually a really nice pod play. I don't mind it. I wouldn't mind also trying to even. I would almost try and use a boost to get in one of those rookies, one of the two big rookies this week, because I mean, I don't know if one of them goes good and then you're complaining because that you were going to go that one or whatever. I reckon it's safer just to get one of them in. I know it's nice to hold boosts, but I think definitely try and get one of Cleary or Gross in for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Mark had Murphy from the start. There you go. Big J, this is the Max Gorn. I got him for 50 cents from Coles last year at the end of the season, and he's stuck with me so far. So there you go. Jono has 4 boosts. Skits has no boosts, like a few of us on the trade table at the moment. Big J, keep the faith, mate. North Melbourne's in the toilet. Jono has no rookies left to cull. Mate, your team must be on fire if you've got no rookies at all. Not getting Long at all, Supercoach God. I'll leave him for you. There you go. Draper R1, Gorn 2, English 3. Huh?
That all the 115s, all to God.
Yeah, everyone. You know what? I actually don't want anyone to pick him. Do not pick him. He's a terrible pick. Terrible pick.
There you go. Very keen on TDK to Nando and Closey to Gross and Davidson. Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't know about Cozzy Pickett though. I think, yeah, that's a super pod. You might even be able to go. How much is Cozzy Pickett? Yeah, if you're going to go Cozzy Pickett, Yaron, just go Sam Draper, like 15k more, and you get a ruck. You get a ruck keeper in your team that plays, lots of positions. So I think Draper might be better for you. Big Bubba 1983, mate. We'd love to have you on as a member. We do members live stream on Tuesdays at 6:00. Definitely have a few people in the stream who are members at the moment. Last couple of comments, fellas. There you go. Matt Flynn. More Matt Flynn. Cleary's job security. Look, I think it's okay, but Sydney do have a few more people coming back. Big J said Essendon and then said Essendon again. Yeah, I meant Essendon play West Coast and the MCG is almost the same size as Optus. Really considering holding Lindsay this week and maybe trade a Hasty or a Campo. I think Lindsay definitely has a lot of cash left. Fielding Gross, not Goss, but Fielding Gross. Field Pryor and Lindsay or Gross and Cleary, guys. You could probably... Look, I would almost say go for the set ones that you know, and Pryor and Lindsay are probably good for a 60 every week. So you don't want to hamstring yourself too much. Caco's West Coast give up lots of points to small forwards, definitely. Oh, yes, what a week in Perth, going big time. There you go. I've still got Lindsay, Nevitt, Davidson, O'Driscoll, 3 boosts left. Cool. Nice work. Was thinking about boosting this week, Davidson to Cleary. Yep, I like it. Save a boost. No, spend the boost. Get the 2 good players in if you can. Noah Anderson to wear the captaincy badge this week. Lowest score of 122 in 5 games versus Richmond. Very, very, very nice. Guys, how many rookies we got on field? I'm at 5. I think I have 6 if I did my original trades plus the flex.
Are we counting Bison as a rookie?
Huh?
No. Not a primo.
Is he a primo?
Bison is a rookie. Come on now. Come on.
So we're counting Bison, Ashcroft as rookies, right? We're counting them all just under the...
I would say they're rookies, yeah.
I've got 5 with Marich and like a Ned Long being my mid prices.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
got,
I think I'm
I
on
got 6 including flex.
Yeah, I'm 6 not including flex, but flex is bice. So, does that even count these days? Can afford Draper, mate. I want to see it next week. He's going to go big. He's also playing no BJ Williams this week. I'm a member. Hey, love that. Captaincy big. Mate, don't captain him. Make him as your vice captain, just for fun. Finn O'Sullivan for the long bank, 100K. Nah, probably not. He's tapped out. Sardis and stuff, I can see doing it, but not him. Peatling, Davidson, and Campo to Gross, Long, and Draper. Cool. There you go. Guys, that has been us for today. It has been a cheeky 2 hours almost on the dot. Fellas, any final words before we head off?
Just quickly, if you are actually genuinely considering getting Ned Long in, my most recent video goes into a lot of depth on it. So, if you're really considering him or you want to be convinced as to why you should get him, then just go over and watch my video.
Love
Nice.
it. Love the plug.
Guy,
Yeah.
any final
Go
words?
George Hewitt.
There you go. Go George Hewitt. There you go.
I'm more confused about my trades now post live stream than I was pre live stream with
There you go.
everything. So probably my one point of advice would be follow and put notifications on Tim Michelle's his Twitter account and do the exact opposite. I repeat, the exact opposite, because he brought in Luke Ryan, I think, this week, and we know what happened there. And he's done, and I think he brought in Jordan Dawson as well. So just do the exact opposite to him, and you'll probably finish top 1K or so.
Well,
I
you
think
know
he also
what?
brought in. I think he brought in Whitfield as well. Like he did some.
He
weird
brought in Whitfield and then changed to Luke Ryan.
And you know
Oh.
what? He posted saying, I don't know if you saw this, but he said, I'm going to bring in both Collingwood midfielders this week just to ruin them.
There you go.
So I might be stuffed here, lads. It might be all over.
There you go. Coach, any final words?
Honestly, if you got boost, burn them while you got them. Have fun with it more than anything. And good luck for this round.
Yeah, fair enough. Guys, cash gen is king. Make sure that you get the right players in, because as I said before, over the next few weeks, we're going to hear a lot of, I just don't have the money to upgrade my players. And the well of close to 300K rookies is slowly burning out as well. Bingers, Nick Bryan has done his ACL, so he's out forever. Guys, that is us for today. Members live stream tomorrow. Sorry, fellas. Members live stream tomorrow, 6 o'clock. The drive home at 7:30. At 5:30 on Thursday. We'll catch us later. Have a good one.